last year, spiking 206% in just 1 year.
So is there any hope for addressing the drug crisis at our own border that the overwhelmed Biden administration is ignoring? New York Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis joins us now. Congresswoman, I would say that for the last year, this was a lost cause just based upon who is in the White House. But now that those people are distracted by Ukraine, is all hope lost?
Well, just like they won't hold China accountable for the virus, they refuse to hold China accountable for trafficking fentanyl over to the United States, whether it be directly or whether it be through Mexico and the southern border. The reality is that President Biden's open borders have led to record level of fentanyl streaming over our border, and also it is leading causes of death among 18 to 45-year-olds. And then here in New York, you have these radical left policies that tie the hands of our police, the bail law that continues to release criminals back onto our streets, including hardened drug dealers, and we have to change it. And the only way we're going to do that is if our governor and state legislature decide to do the right thing to protect American citizens. Right now, what we're seeing is our leadership making it easier for the drug cartels and the drug dealers to sell poison to our children.
What is the conversation like, Congresswoman, on Capitol Hill regarding fentanyl? It feels like there should be bipartisan support in addressing this issue. Is there?
Well, we got a lot of lip service from our colleagues on the other side, but at the end of the day, they control the agenda, and we have pieces of legislation that would secure our borders. We have pieces of legislation that would give our law enforcement the tools to stop this trafficking, and they won't allow it to come to the floor for a vote. So they say one thing, but then when it comes to actually taking action, they refuse to bring up those bills that would address the issue.
Along those lines, you mentioned the latest heinous attack in New York City, a 31-year-old repeat criminal assaulting a toddler riding in a toy wagon. The reason I say, as you mentioned, you said lip service. I want to draw your attention to New York City Mayor Eric Adams. He's had a few months now to make New York City safer. Congresswoman, where are the results?
Well, I think the mayor, he has been trying, I believe, but the problem is our governor and our state legislature refuse to actually change the issue. Look the other day what they did. Governor Cuomo's appointed parole board released somebody back onto the street, and then that person ended up assaulting someone who died. He was charged with murder, and Cuomo's appointed judge then released him back onto the street with no bail, despite the fact that she had discretion to hold this guy behind bars, and the prosecutor was pleading to hold a murderer behind bars. This is what's happening in New York, and until our governor appoints better judges, until we have prosecutors that are serious about prosecuting crime, and until our state legislature, which is completely controlled by Democrats who put in that bail law, decide and acknowledge that they've made a mistake, we're going to continue to see crime rise in New York City, despite what the mayor says, what I say, or anyone else who's been advocating for common sense policing policies.
And Congresswoman, we want to get to this last topic really quickly, because New York City Mayor Eric Adams also now says that children under 5 can stop wearing masks if we don't have a spike. What's your reaction to that?
Man, the youngest children are the ones that shouldn't be wearing masks to begin with. I mean, when you think about it, he takes it off for the older kids, which I agree with, but then he leaves it on for those smaller kids. It's so critical for their developmental growth, for social, for mental, to be able to read their teacher's lips as they're learning to speak. This is something that has to be done. He needs to remove these masks from these young children. He is damaging them.
You're right. It feels like this should have happened so long ago. We're glad that it's happening now, but you're absolutely right. Getting those masks off kids younger than 5, absolutely critical. We have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us.
With that, Fox and Friends starts right now.